was at work today, I heard the news that the right-wing activist and co-founder of Turning Point USA, which has gotten a lot of ink in recent years because of its catering to millennials / Generation Z types. Basically, it was a red pill type of thing, outfit, because it was, the followers were overwhelmingly male and all that. But anyway, Charlie Kirk had died in giving a talk on a Utah college campus, which is kind of ironical given the fact that he was a college dropout, a junior college or community college dropout, and he was always talking about the glories of not going to college. Oh, that not everybody should go. Well, which in a way that's true, but the underlying thing was telling men that only gay guys and women, all those lowlifes, only they go after college degrees. You're too good for that. So go into the trades, go into all these things that you can't sustain into late middle age or old age if you live that long. And then, of course, he was all into the 1950s crap, and I've repeatedly slammed that mentality, that 1950s shit, because it wasn't that way at all. And then a lot of places have pointed out the irony that Charlie Kirk figured, there was some talk he gave a couple of years ago, that he thought, well, the price of the Second Amendment, which of course Second Amendment does not say there's a right to keep and bear arms. That only has to do with militias, no matter what the idiot United States Supreme Court said, or under the Harlan Carter influenced NRA. But it's a small price to pay. The school shootings are a small price to pay for the glories of the Second Amendment, and of course he dies from a gunshot wound to the neck. And that was just horrifying. I did not watch that, and I never will watch that. I just think his wife and his little kids, they're going through damn hell. The wife will probably have to get therapy for years because she witnessed that. And so right now, as this title tells us, and this is, a few hours out from his murder, there's a manhunt out for the person who did this horrid deed, and hopefully they find him. But of all the places in the United States to murder a right-winger, it would have to be in a red state. And of course, according to CNN, it says here, authorities in Utah said there's an active investigation. A person had been taken into custody for interrogation, but was released this evening, FBI Director Kash Patel said. There has been an outpouring of condemnation from both sides of the aisle as to Kirk's death. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, yeah, it's true, but on the so-called left or Democratic side, overwhelmingly, well, it actually entirely, it isn't just overwhelmingly, but entirely condemned it. They didn't use it as a springboard for the need for more gun control or anything. They just expressed outrage like Obama did, like Clinton did, like Biden did, like Harris, all down the line. Condemned the killing. And then you had the right that is trying to make political hay out of it. Oh, we need to go after the Democrats, the left. We need to arrest him. Blah, 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 blah. That Nancy Mace is a nut job. of the worst kind. And they just talk out of their ass. Hannity's the same thing, while getting paid ridiculous amounts of money, spewing shit out of his ass. Nobody knows who did this act. Nobody knows the motive of this act. Nobody knows. But it sounds like it was planned, given the distance away that he was shot and all that. But we have to just wait and see what happens here. And it's just a horrible thing. And he had millions and millions of listeners to his various speeches, his podcasts. I guess he was a podcaster. I never paid much attention to him. I'd see him every once in a while on TV. And I just figured, you've seen one right-winger, you've seen them all. And of course, he's out of the picture, but there'll be 200 or 300 of them to take his place. They're just, there's not one person. It's a whole bunch of them. And this guy, well, let's look him up. Let's see, Charlie Kirk. And it's the lazy man's way, or woman's way, of looking at his background. He was definitely a Christian nationalist, anti-gay, all this kind of crap. And apparently he was talking about that shooting of a few days ago that it involved somebody that identified as transgender or whatever. He was talking about that, and then right about then he got it. It says here he was born on October 14th, 1993, so he was only 31. He would have been 32 next month, in the Chicago suburb of Arlington Heights, and was raised near Prospect Heights. His mother is a mental health counselor, and his father is an architect. Kirk was a member of the Boy Scouts of America and earned the rank of Eagle Scout. In 2010, during his junior year at Wheeling High School, he volunteered for the successful U.S. campaign of Illinois Republican Mark Kirk, no relation. In his senior year, Kirk created a campaign to reverse a price increase for cookies at his school. He also wrote an essay for Breitbart News alleging liberal bias in high school textbooks, which led to an appearance on Fox Business. So, he went for the grift quite early. And he was catering to the youth. And this older guy named Bill Montgomery told him to engage in political activism full time. He subsequently founded Turning Point USA, a grassroots organization to rival liberal groups such as MoveOn.org. And then in 2012 Republican National Convention, Kirk met Foster Friess, a prominent Republican donor, and persuaded him to finance the organization. So he was on the grift way back. So anyway, it goes on and talks about his activities at Turning Point and talk radio. It says here he hosted a daily 3-hour radio talk show called The Charlie Kirk Show on Salem Media's The Answer radio channel. According to internal data from Turning Point USA, Kirk's podcast was being downloaded between 500,000 and 750,000 times each day in 2024. I know that he had a big following. Maybe not as big as Joe Rogan and some of those, but he had a big following. But anyway, yeah, it's sad shit. That's horrifying for anybody that had witnessed that. And hopefully the perp is caught. But yeah, a lot of irony there, and cynics have said you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And a lot of what was I going to say? The thing that really surprises me, given how vile the political right is, that so few of them have met this end. And I don't want to see any more. Get this. This is not the answer to anything. But anyway, I thought I'd just say a few thoughts about it for whatever it's worth. That is it.